Hey everybody, hunter, fisher, trapper, trader, guide, scout, and interpreter, and just a country cook, Steve Hall here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with that pretty lady running that camera back there, pretty Miss Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Are you ready for some fish and corn fritters?
Yes.
Fried up, and then we're going to make a dipping sauce over here with some Dijon mustard and some 100% maple syrup. Don't use the other stuff. Don't use Log Cabin and Mrs. Butterworth's, and that's just Caro syrup with flavoring in it. Get the real deal. But come on over here. We got our oil heating up. We got a little over 2 cups of fish, baked and flaked, ready to go in here with some other ingredients. And we're going to make some little teeny fish fritters and fry them up. Oh, you're just going to love them. Check it out. To start out with, we're going to need a little over 2 cups of baked and flaked fish. And that's real simple. You just spray down a cookie sheet, throw about 4 or 5 fillets. This is 5 fillets of tilapia, and I cut that little brown strip out of the middle of the tilapia fillets. I just don't care for that. Sprayed it down. I just laid them in there, baked it at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes, mashed it up, and this is what we got. A little over 2 cups. Because 2 cups just doesn't quite seem to be enough, so we got just a little bit over that. Not much, but just a smidgen. Then we're going to put in a can of corn, sweet corn, drained, whole kernel corn, not the cream stuff, obviously. We're going to mix that in there. Then we're going to put in a 1/2 cup of green onions, chopped up, your little spring onions there. This is a good recipe to go fishing with. Then we'll raid the garden and get the rest of the goodies, you know. We're going to put in some seasoning here, just a pinch of cumin and a teaspoon of coriander. They're both in this little cup right here. So I'm just going to put them in together. See if I can't gently smear that all over, then start mixing it in. These are so good. Let me check on my oil over here and see what I'm up to. We got 250 and climbing. We're going to go to 350. Believe it or not, I like the magic temperature to cook fish and everything else at 360 degrees. 350 is not quite enough. 375 I think is a little too hot. You break down your oil too much. 360 is just absolutely perfect. We're going to put in a tablespoon of garlic in here. Chopped up in our fritters. And we've got 2 eggs that we beat up. We didn't beat them up, we just kind of roughed them up a little bit. Sheila smacked them around some. Anyway, we got a couple of eggs beaten and put in there for some of our binder. The other part of our binder here is going to be a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, which is right here. Get that in there. These are just great little recipes for something different that really tastes outstanding. And I don't care if I break the fish up more and more, because it seems like the more shredded it gets, the better it makes these little fritters. So don't be afraid to smack it around here with your spoon a little bit. And we're going to put in 1 heaping tablespoon of yellow cornmeal, and I say heaping, I mean just kind of round it up there pretty good. That's also going to be some of our binder in there. Now you can use any kind of fish. In fact, I like to use the good stuff when I'm out at the lake there. If I can bring in some bluegills, crappies, anything. Northern pike if you debone it right, walleye fillets, catfish, of course, everything. Kind of an update here. I stopped the camera just for a second to double check. What I told you was flour that I put in there was actually a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, which really makes these nice and crispy. Now we're going to put in our 1/2 cup of flour. That's a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, 1/2 cup of flour, but you don't have to write any of our recipes down. You can just sit back and enjoy and watch them, because at the bottom underneath the video where it says show more, just click on that and I'll have the complete recipe in there, how to make it and everything, and you don't have to go to a website to get our recipes. They're right underneath the video anytime that you want them, 24/7. Now we're going to put in just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We don't want to season this and let it get away, so You can always add more, but you can't take it out. Then we're going to put in a half a cup of celery. Actually, I'm going to reduce this to a third of a cup, even though my recipe I'm glancing at over here from time to time says a half a cup. But I only got a third of a cup in here chopped real fine because I am not big on lots of celery. So just a third of a cup in this entire recipe of real fine chopped celery. Ooh, this is looking really dandy here. Then we just need to put in just a little bit of herbs here. And what we're going to put in is just a quarter cup of cilantro. Mix that in to give it some nice color and flavor. Let me double check my oil here in just a second. I'm going to mix this for another minute or so to make sure I get everything blended up good. I'm going to get my oil up to 360 degrees. We'll be right back. Our oil is ready, and so is our little batch of goodies over here. So let's give this a try. We're just going to pick up like little golf ball sized chunks, then kind of mash them flat, almost like a little hamburger. Now watch your fingers. I use my hands kind of close to the oil. You don't have to do that. You can put them in with something else if you want, like a little frying pan turner kind of looking thing. But we're going to get these just nice and golden brown. Remember, our fish is cooked, so all we're looking for is just a nice golden brown fritter. Don't want to get too much there, just a little. I kind of pack the sides in so she'll stick together. Kind of roll them in a ball. Now you can leave them in a ball shape too, but I don't know, I just kind of like them a little flatter. I think they do better dipping in the sauce, etc. Now these will float to the top like all fish do when they get done. In fact, we'll give it about a minute and I'll show you when we turn them. These are looking pretty good and they're smelling good too. I'm not going to put any more in there because I want to keep the oil up temperature wise, and I got about 4 or 5 more that I made over here. So as soon as these are ready, we're going to transfer them over to this paper towel. See you in just a minute. These are looking just dandy. Isn't that a nice golden brown there, Sheila? Wow. That is just perfect. Now a lot of people use like a little melon scoop or a real small ice cream scoop to make kind of a ball. But I like them a little flatter because I want them, even though it's cooked, I want it kind of penetrating down to the middle of it with the oil. I don't know if you can see these over here, so I'm going to move these over here. And I'm using canola oil. Now you can use peanut oil if you want. I don't use peanut oil because there's a lot of people that have peanut allergies, and I don't want them to come to my house and end up with a peanut allergy, so I use canola oil for just about everything. Fish and corn fritters, you got to try them with all the extra little goodies that are in there. Turn these one more time. I've actually turned these a couple, 3 times. I don't just turn them once. I turn them, and if they don't look completely brown, I let it cook on the other side, and I turn it again, and this one looks like he's just crying out to come out of there. Fish and corn fritters, fresh from the electric fry pan. Just imagine a nice cast iron skillet out at the campsite. You catch some bluegills, you bring those ingredients, whip it up, and make some fritters for everybody. In here is going to be our fancy little dipping sauce, and it's not that fancy. It's 3/4 of a cup of Dijon mustard and 1/4 of a cup of 100% maple syrup. So that makes it just a cup total, 3/4 of it being, I'm going to put a little extra in there, 3/4 of it being Dijon mustard and the other quarter being 100%, not log cabin, not Mrs. Butterworth's, but 100% maple syrup in there. That's a little over 1/4 of a cup, but you get the point. 3/4 of a cup Dijon mustard, 1/4 of a cup of 100% maple syrup, and we got our dipping sauce for our fish and corn fritters. And you see this little guy here? He was the first one out of the pan, so I cut him from the herd so I can pick him up. He's not burning hot. Let me try this. Might as well tell the truth. Me and Sheila took a little break for lunch because this stuff smelled so good coming right out of that hot oil and dipping it in this sauce. And we got to munching away and talking about the recipe, and it was just absolutely delicious. Thinking maybe we should even put in like a little pinch of sugar in there or something. That's up to you. But it was just so good. Then I said, Sheila, we haven't shot the end of the video yet, and we've only got this many little pieces left, especially when she shared some with one of her clients because she's a beautician. Well, this is all we got left to close the show with, but you get the idea. We hope you enjoy our recipes, and we hope you subscribe to our channel. Right over here, little Shotgun Red's face will pop up over here in just a second. If it hasn't already, if you click on that with your mouse, it'll say subscribe. We hope you do that so we can share our recipes with you. Over here, we'll throw another recipe up that you might enjoy, but just check them all out on Cooking with Shotgun Red. And is this the best fish and corn fritters that we almost didn't have enough to close the show with? Sheila, if it ain't, it ought to be. Boy, it's just terrific. We hope you give it a try. We'll see you next time right here on Cooking with Shotgun Red. And then there's 5. Bye-bye.